Hi there, we're going to take a look at triglycerides and phospholipids. So triglycerides are a type of lipid, so fat, that are mainly used as energy storage molecules. A triglyceride is formed by the condensation of one molecule of glycerol and three molecules of fatty acid. Maybe you can remember, condensation reaction produces water and is the building of larger molecules from its smaller monomers. When a triglyceride is formed, ester bonds form between the glycerol and the fatty acid chains, and one molecule is released per each ester bond. So in total, 3 molecules of water are released per triglyceride formed. Fatty acids have long tails made of a chain of hydrocarbons with about 4 to 36 carbon atoms. The hydrocarbon tail is variable, but most fatty acids contain 12 to 18 carbons. Glycerol links to the central carbon atom on fatty acids. The 3 fatty acids in the triglyceride may be similar or dissimilar. Fatty acids may be saturated or unsaturated, and some fatty acids have names that come from their origin. For example, palmitic acid is a saturated fatty acid that comes from the palm tree. So to recap, triglycerides are formed by the condensation of one molecule of glycerol and 3 molecules of fatty acid. 3 molecules of water are released per triglyceride formed. The structures of triglycerides are related to their functions, and their molecules responsible for storing energy. Chemical energy is stored in the fatty acid hydrocarbon tails, so lots of energy is released when the triglycerides are broken down. Carbohydrates contain about half the amount of energy per gram as lipids do, so they're not as effective. So lipids contain a lot more energy than carbohydrates. Triglycerides are insoluble in water because the fatty acid tails are hydrophobic. This means that the cell's water potential is not affected by triglycerides. This is important because if triglycerides didn't repel water, the water would enter the cell through the process of osmosis, and this would make the cells swell up. In cells, the insoluble triglycerides crowd together as droplets because the hydrophobic fatty acid tails face inwards. Phospholipids are a type of lipid that forms a bilayer, so the main component of cell membranes, and are responsible for controlling what goes in and out of cells. Phospholipids and triglycerides are quite similar. They are both composed of fatty acid chains attached to glycerol. The main difference is that one of the 3 hydrophobic fatty acid tails is replaced by a hydrophilic phosphate group in phospholipids. This means that the phospholipid molecule has a hydrophobic and a hydrophilic part, with the hydrophobic part being the 2 tails and the hydrophilic part being the phosphate group. And we call this kind of molecule an amphipathic molecule. Phospholipids, as I said, have 2 fatty acid chains. The 2 fatty acid chains in phospholipids are hydrophobic and cannot interact with water. In membranes, the hydrophobic fatty acid tails face inwards in the bilayer. This means that water-soluble substances can't easily pass through the membrane. The modified phosphate group in phospholipids is hydrophilic and can interact with water. In membranes, the hydrophilic phosphate group faces the outside.